This is a delicious muffin that if you do happen to have a couple extra zucchinis, you can't beat this recipe. Drizzled with a zesty orange glaze and a delicate sprig of chervil, these muffins are perfect for breakfast. You need 1 pound of zucchini, and just use your box grater and grate the zucchini. There, that's good. Now, zucchini is a wet vegetable, and you want to try to get as much moisture out of this zucchini as possible. So what I'm going to do is just put it all into a cloth, and we'll just let that sit for a second until the juices start to run, and then squeeze. And while we're waiting for that, you can start the rest of the muffin. Melted butter, 3/4 of a cup, and 3 large eggs, and 1½ cups of granulated sugar. And this is another muffin that's easily made by hand without an electric mixer. You can just make it in a bowl. Stir well until incorporated. And to this add the zest of 1 bright orange. And you just want the outside bright skin of the orange when you're zesting. And squeeze the juice too. And we just need a tablespoon, so just sort of eyeball it. So those are our wet ingredients. Simple, fragrant, really fragrant. It just smells delicious. Now for our dry ingredients. 2½ cups of unbleached all-purpose white flour. 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. You might say, oh, why so much? Well, you remember, we're having zucchini. It's sort of a heavy addition to the batter. That's why you need a little bit more leavening. And some other interesting ingredients. 1/4 teaspoon of anise seed. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Ground cardamom from cardamom seed pods. Mix these together. So we now have our dry ingredients. Now we have to squeeze our zucchini. Now watch this, just twist the cloth. I remember doing this as a child for my mother when we made cabbage pierogi. We would squeeze the steamed cabbage and get all the moisture out of it. So that's enough, I think. Now this can go right into your wet ingredients. The same recipe actually can be adapted to other kinds of squash. You can also use carrot. And now add your dry ingredients. Makes a nice batter. And if you notice, the muffins that we're making on this show all have a little bit of a twist. A topping, a sprinkling, a spice. Makes a much more interesting muffin. So these are now ready to spoon into our papers. Just pieces of parchment paper folded like a tulip cup. So use a ½ cup ice cream scoop and gently drop the batter down into the paper. And this should make 10 muffins. Make sure your oven is preheated, 325 degrees, and bake for about 25 minutes. This zucchini muffin has a sugar glaze made out of powdered sugar, orange juice, and orange zest. And you'll want about a tablespoon of glaze on top of each of these beautiful muffins. And I also like to garnish with a little piece of chervil. This is a great late summer muffin when you have way too much zucchini in your garden and don't know what to do with it. Zucchini is the secret ingredient for keeping these muffins very moist. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Martha Bakes.